Western tensions after the French and Indian War. So again, looking at this map, after the French loss in the French and Indian War, the 7 Years' War, France is humiliated. Retaliation is likely. No country likes to lose. France especially doesn't like to lose to Britain. Britain now controls North America east of the Mississippi River. And as a result, they need to continue to station troops in the colonies to protect from Spain, to protect from French retaliation, to protect from Native American attack. All of those things are concerns for the British military. American colonists, however, had a tradition of moving westward. Add to the fact that you have more and more immigrants coming to America, people of German descent, Scots-Irish descent, people of African descent imported as slaves. All of this increased migration from Europe and then migration from coastal cities inland is facilitated by trails that had been cut during the French and Indian War. Things like Braddock's Road and Forbes Road that we can see there in red. These were roads that were first utilized in the war against the French and now are excellent for settlers trying to head west. The group we haven't talked enough about yet are the Native Americans. They did not attend the Treaty of Paris that settled the French and Indian War. The French had given Indian-owned land beyond the Appalachians to Britain. The Indians are left saying, by what right did the French have to give away our lands? This is one of the causes, this is one of the things that leads to what we know as Pontiac's War or Pontiac's Rebellion. In the spring and summer of 1763, a loose confederation of northwestern tribes lash out and attack British forts in the Midwest, capturing some of those forts. My favorite story from that tale is the Fort Michilimackinac tale up in the top of the Mitten in Michigan, where Native Americans staged a lacrosse game outside of the British fort. And when the British soldiers came out to watch this exhibition of this strange and unique sport, the players took a break at roughly halftime, were handed their rifles by the women in their tribe, and quickly took over the fort because all the soldiers were outside watching. Probably more importantly, though, is that Pontiac's Rebellion included raids on colonial settlements in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, in frontier Virginia as well. It's these actions that lead to retribution from white colonists, most notably in western Pennsylvania, where in the winter of 1763, we have a group known as the Paxton Boys, taking it upon themselves to enact some justice, some revenge, some vigilante justice. And they raided and attacked and murdered friendly Native Americans in western Pennsylvania. They attacked a tribe that had nothing to do with Pontiac's Rebellion, that had remained loyal and supportive of the British throughout Pontiac's Rebellion. Nonetheless, this still happened. A treaty is signed to resume the fur trade, the profitable fur trade, and the British reoccupy those forts. The Indians are still claiming that that land was not the French's, the people of France's land to relinquish. And it's in this time that we get the Royal Proclamation Line of 1763. The Proclamation of Line of 1763 extended from Canada all the way down to Georgia, along the crest of the Appalachian Mountains. And in this period of high tension between Native American tribes and colonists wanting to move west, this line barred any colonists from going west of that line. Any white settlers already over that line were supposed to move back east. This gives the royal government, this gives Parliament a monopoly on that land west of the line. Even colonial governors were not allowed to sell land west of the line. No more colonial deals, no more land sales with Native Americans. Only the British government, only Parliament can deal with those Native Americans west of the Appalachian Mountains. So to a degree, this is a loss of autonomy and self-rule for many colonists. The British are forced to send troops to enforce this law, this line, but that's impossible. Settlers continue to encroach on the line and spread west of the line. If you look at the total number of soldiers that Britain ever had to enforce this policy, it's less than 7 soldiers per mile of frontier. In addition, that law failed to stop colonial elites. These were people who invested in land speculation companies and were not going to be denied the profits they might see from that. It failed to stop officers from the French and Indian War, like George Washington, who had been granted land in reward for their service, and some of them wanted that land to be beyond the Appalachian Mountains, where it was unsettled and unspoiled. It also failed to stop Indian traders. These are people who had traded with Native Americans. Some of them had purchased land. Some of them wanted to sell those land grants that they had obtained. And it also does little to stop squatters, people who moved out onto land that they did not legally own and settled on it anyway. In fact, this situation leads to two things. In 1770, the Shawnee Native Americans right here in Ohio organized what's known as the Scioto Confederacy, another loose collection of Native American tribes organized to oppose further white settlement into Ohio. This is going to be a point of contention and an issue up until Washington's presidency. And in 1774, we have what's sometimes called Dunmore's War, where Lord Dunmore, the royal governor of Virginia, leads Westerners, mainly from Virginia, to attack the Shawnee and take the land of Kentucky by force. And this was a popular and important Native American hunting ground that was just seized by force from Native Americans.